Thank you so much, everyone. On Friday, the APC will be voting for their presidential candidate ahead of 2019. And that election will be by direct primary, where card-carrying members of the party will be able to vote. That's some of the kind of agreement the party had at the last NEC meeting. But look, at some point, some states said that they do not want direct primaries. They want indirect primaries, and the party has released a list. Well, the All Progressive Congress scheduled Saturday, September 29 for its governorship primaries, October 2nd for Senate, October the 3rd for House of Reps, and October the 4th for state assemblies. There are controversies around the mode of primaries to be adopted across the states, which may overshadow the process. So Honorable Chidi Lloyd has been talking to us, is a chieftain of the APC from Rivers State, a former lawmaker. Let me ask you this last question before we move on to our next guest on the program. Honorable Lloyd, tell us, as it stands right now, because there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of things we hear and we see about politics of Rivers State. Wouldn't there be a dire consequence after these primaries for your party in Rivers State? We've seen the party divided already. And when people disagree over the mode of primaries, isn't it a recipe for disaster?
Now, Shehu, let me say this quickly. The only dire consequence which I see for the Rivers State APC is that we have members who are in the PDP that are still masquerading as our members. And exactly, I said this with due respect to Senator Magnus Abe. He is doing a collabo with the governor of Rivers State and the People's Democratic Party. So we were, because it is doubtful whether Senator Magnus Abe is still in PDP, in APC, in Rivers State. Well, that is neither here nor there. So I heard him talk about voiding and no voiding. And that's why I said ab initio in this program. I will offer him this legal advice pro bono, that there is nothing that has been voided, that the ruling of Justice Chiwendu Wogu, the ruling which he gave on the 11th of May, voiding the Congress of the 5th that was conducted, was actually stayed by the Court of Appeal on the 21st of June. So as it stands now, nothing is on the way of the Ojukari Flag Amakri-led executive committee.
Honorable Lloyd, we need to allow you to go so that we can get our next guest on the program talking. That's Honorable Chidi Lloyd, a former lawmaker in Rivers State House of Assembly and the chieftain of the APC. Thank you so much for talking to us. Let me show you some of these images. Maybe you will understand where we're coming from and where the APC are going about this. So this is the mode of primaries that the APC had released for some of these states. So it's quite not the same mode for all of the states. In Abia States, direct. And if you take a critical look at this and look at the states that the APC currently controls, where the APC currently have their governors, you see that there's a predominant case of indirect primaries in some of the states, except for states like Lagos State, where they will be employing the direct primaries. So in states like Rivers, in states like Ekiti, instead like Edo, they will be employing direct primaries. In Enugu, indirect, Ebonyi, indirect. So if you look at those states, those are not states controlled by the APC presently. But if you look at some of these states and some of those, the request they made before now is slightly different from what is being published by the party. Let's get a perspective from another member of the APC, this time around a senatorial aspirant of the APC from the Federal Capital Territory, where he used to be a regular legal and political analyst on the program. Now he's a full-blown politician. Honorable, Mr. Daniel Bwala joins us on the program. Thank you so much, Mr. Bwala, for joining us on the program. In another toga that you'll be talking tonight, what the party has entered into looks so much to a lot of people as perhaps they've entered into a tunnel of crises, a constitutional issue that is ahead of the party, isn't it?
Well, thank you for having me. I do not think that it will create a crisis situation, except if, of course, with politics, people will want to always turn it in the direction that they want. I think the next decision is clear, that for the president, it is direct primaries, And then generally, it is direct primaries across the length and breadth of the country. But there are exceptional situations where others will be allowed to do indirect. And all stakeholders and party faithfuls in the state intending to do indirect will have to resolve. And then they will write to NEC, they will write to the national body, and the national body will look at the merit of their case and decide on that. Most of the states that you see indirect primaries permitted are states that are probably having their crisis-prone areas. And the places where there is relatively peaceful situation, they are asked to do direct. But don't forget, whether you conflict with the direct or indirect, the Supreme Court decision is very clear regarding what is the soul, the nerve, the brain, the center of the party. It is the national body. Ultimately, it's the decision of the national body that will determine the direction of a party. This has long been decided by the Supreme Court.
But the thing, the question a lot of people will be asking is that there seems not to be quite a kind of fairness in the treatment to some of the states who said they want indirect primaries. They were not giving. Some were giving. Is it fair enough? Wouldn't it cause some bad blood?
Right. So this is what happens in a situation like that. If, and I do not pray for that, the conduct of primaries is conducted and somebody feels aggrieved, part of what he will bring to the appeal committee are what he thinks are issues that border on fairness, equity, and whether or not his right is being infringed. Because cases are decided even in court on their case-to-case basis, on their merit and demerit. One case cannot fit, it is not a one-size-fits-all situation. And for the people who are running away from direct primaries, I'm still at shock as to why they don't want the members of the party to have the power. Power belongs to the people. It is direct primaries that gives the members of the party the power to decide their choice candidate going into the election. And when they decide on that, they are likely to fully participate and bring others on board.
All right.
All political parties are in tandem as regards direct primaries.
All right. Mr. Bwala, we need to close now, but I will give you 20 seconds to do this. It's going to be interesting. Is it direct primaries for your own election or indirect? And the fact remains that a lot of people will say it seems that some of the governors are having their ways anyways.
Well, in FCT, there is no governor, but on the National Working Committee, from the statement issued yesterday, it seems FCT has been ordered to do direct primaries, and the decision of the National Working Committee becomes final, except if it is upturned by the NEC. So as it stands, FCT is, built up for direct primaries.
And that seems to be in your favor, isn't it? I understand that you are a
Definitely, but not because... Yes, no. I'm in favoring direct primaries, not because of myself, but we want throughout Nigeria for the party to be a leadership by example.
All right. I wish you the very best. Now that you're testing the waters in politics, you've been a legal practitioner, been of immense contribution on the program. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Daniel Bwala. That's our program, everyone. Thank you so much for being part of it, everyone. I'm Sean Wakimbale. Bye-bye.